The Soulsborne series is no stranger nowadays to the gaming industry. Millions, including myself and I assume you as well, are big fans of these games. This, on top of Elden Ring's monumental success, has only helped bring the games into the spotlight. The best part of this series, besides the absolute quality and art of the games themselves, is that they're actually really easy to find and generally available on all platforms. Whether you're on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, hell even the Switch, the Soulsborne games are everywhere now. All except one. I'm of course referring to Bloodborne. At the time of making this video, it is February 24th, 2024. We are 1 month and 1 year away from 10 whole years since the release of Bloodborne all the way back in March of 2015. So what happened? Bloodborne was originally released as an exclusive for the PlayStation 4, fairly early into the console's lifecycle. It felt like the true successor to Dark Souls 1, as this one actually had Miyazaki working on it. Just like its spiritual predecessor, the game was an instant hit. The deep and rich eldritch horror and atmosphere of the game enchanted millions. It's not a stretch to say that this game was, and still is, unique. You get the point. This game is very, very, very good. Despite all of this, the game has been, in a sense, buried alive by heads and executives of all the companies involved. When I say buried alive, I mean that this game still has a lot of potential in life. The fan base of it is still very strong and active, but it's been given a slow and unnecessary death. You see, the game is essentially chained to the PlayStation 4. Yep, it's never seen a port in the 8 years it's been out, let alone a remaster or anything like that. This has become a point of issue for the fans of the series. Sony or Fromsoft have never bothered to state explicitly why this game hasn't received any update when it comes to being ported or any sort of next-gen update. One might speculate the fact that, at the end of the day, this is a Sony exclusive, and we all know Sony doesn't mess with the integrity of its IPs, is what I would have said if this was a general blanket statement. Sony has been porting their recent big exclusives to PC, God of War, Days Gone, Horizon, hell even Spider-Man. We're missing Ghost of Tsushima, but don't even get me started on that. The issue, it seems, doesn't even have anything to do with keeping exclusives exclusives. Some online sources have stated that BB suffers from having a very messy source code. Tucker Tausig stated in his article from GameRant, noted insider and games journalist Jeff Grubb struck at the root of the issue on a podcast in late 2022. According to him, the source code of Bloodborne is incredibly difficult to emulate or iterate upon, hacked together in a way that would be a monumental challenge to remaster without starting from the ground up. This is one of the proposed theories. The fact that Bloodborne is just a big jumble of code that's just super old and kind of unrevivable at this point. Yet, there is another side to the story that I think is just as relevant to mention, if not more. The side of incentives and money. I believe a lot of us, including myself of course, sort of tend to forget that this game didn't hit any insane sales. Truth be told, as of 2023, Bloodborne has only sold 7 million copies, which again, I am not trying to sell this game short. That's a great thing. But now let's compare that to something like God of War. God of War sold about 23 million copies, in a much shorter time as well. Now the explanation of why these numbers are the way they are could be an entirely separate video. But Bloodborne came out during a time where Fromsoft and Soulsborne wasn't really mainstream yet, so to speak. I'd like to recall what I had said to you earlier in this video. The Soulsborne series is no stranger nowadays to the gaming industry. That's what we have now. Now we have Game of the Year awards for these games in this genre, worldwide recognition and praise. This is now, but what about then? My point, to put it bluntly, is that Sony doesn't have any incentive to give this game an update or any sort of port. Why would they? Even in a post-Elden Ring world, would a port of a 10-year-old game really bring as much traction and money as something new and hot like God of War Ragnarok? Despite the speculations and conspiracy theories, would a single changeless port of Bloodborne be enough? A similar concept is brought up by Dang It Jim's video. I hope I said that right. He goes over this on his own video about a Bloodborne PC port, which is a great video by the way. I'll leave the link to it down below. Bloodborne is a great game, but to say that it's flawless or a perfection of the Soulsborne formula is a bit of a stretch. The question then becomes, if we were to get a port, should it be the same Bloodborne that we've had for the past 10 years, or with some changes? I'm usually for preservation when it comes to these topics, meaning leave everything the way it is. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. That's the catch, however. I'd argue that Bloodborne is certainly broken in some aspects. This would be a given for a port this late into the game's life, but the resolution and frames would definitely have to change. Bloodborne is still locked at 30 frames per second, with a resolution of 1080p. How about the loading screens? This game does not feel like it was made for the PlayStation 4, despite being an exclusive for the console. It suffers from really bad loading times, and I mean really bad. Besides the technical factors, how about the gameplay itself? There's no doubt what I'm about to say next is entirely subjective. However, would we really want the limited healing items to return? Bloodborne was one of the few games in the Soulsborne series that went for the finite healing system, ditching the Estus style of Dark Souls and Sekiro, meaning your health items were like any other consumable, limited and low. Sure, you could always farm the lower level enemies whenever you would run out, but this served only as a serious halt in progression and in game flow. I say all of this to bring light onto one topic. Would a simple port this late be enough? Would it be too much to expect something new, or some fixes in the game? Or are we just asking for too much? This video wasn't meant to bring you down, or to say that we'll never get a Bloodborne port, so we're just better off killing our dreams. No, not at all. It was just meant to state the reality of the situation. Who knows? Would we even be better off without a Bloodborne port? The game was good, but was it perfect? There's this notion that Bloodborne is a masterpiece. It's a great game, no doubt, but are we just looking at this through the haze and lens of nostalgia? As always, thank you for watching. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally reached the end of this video. Man, I seriously appreciate if you made it all the way here. Thank you so much. The fact that you took the time out of your day to sit down and watch this video, it means a lot to me. Man, this video was real fun to make. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys have a good one, and I'll catch all of you guys next time. Goodbye.